Welcome everybody. I am Marilee Burnett, your tarot reader and astrologer, back again with the messages for the week of October 30th, 2023. Good news is we have survived eclipse season. Although we still have work to do, we've at least got past the new moon solar eclipse and the full moon lunar eclipse that have occurred in the month of October. This week, we are working through all of that intense energy that we get from a full moon. And there's quite a bit of activity. In fact, the moon's really active this week, making a lot of difficult angles, having lots of difficult conversations, which is not unexpected as the light is draining from the moon. We are letting go, we are releasing things. So now we have to do the work. As the week starts off, we have Venus trying to Uranus. Now, Venus is a benefic planet. This energy is positive, but it can be a little surprising. We can be a bit excessive with topics that are related to Venus: love, beauty, money, values. And Uranus is in retrograde. There could be some who hear from a lover from the past. Just remember, people are in the past for a reason, and just to be cautious. This is a quick hit kind of energy. It's not something that's necessarily long lasting, but Uranus is surprising, so you never know what is actually going to go on when we're interacting with this planet's energy. But just know, as the week begins, we do have some surprises in store. They should be positive. It's a trine, but again, just don't get overly committed to anything that you see, and just watch your spending. This can be a time where we're just encouraged to be a little over the top. And as the week starts off, we'll be seeing Saturn slowing down to end its retrograde. And one of the conversations that it first has as it's starting to slow down is a brief, difficult conversation with the moon in Gemini. So there's a square, something that we need to change our mind about, that may be because of this interaction between Venus and Taurus. So look for that as the week begins. As we progress in the week, we will end up seeing the big powerhouse planets of Jupiter, and technically a luminary, the Sun, will be in opposition to one another, and they will be in opposition from, of course, the signs of Taurus, where Jupiter is still retrograde, and the Sun is moving forward through the sign of Scorpio, where it has just been, of course, a part of that full moon lunar eclipse energy. So this is a bit of an ego war. What's interesting, though, is that the moon will be in the sign of Cancer, and it's positively aspected to both Jupiter and the Sun. So to me, that is like the energy of the mediator and the peacekeeper. So maybe this is the role that a woman will play in our lives. Maybe this is the role of a woman on the public stage that's trying to cool down an argument between two opposing sides. So look for some interesting conversations on Thursday in particular, when this energy is going to be very, very active. Now, Friday is when things start to get really interesting, because if you look at the picture, I'm going to use Friday to the talking points for this week. You can see that there is so much tension, so many conversations going on in the sky between all of the planets, that I expect really through the weekend that the energy is going, to be intense. The moon will be opposing Pluto, so that's a very difficult conversation. Now, Pluto energy is interesting. Sometimes you aren't aware of what's actually going on, because this is things and energy that happens beneath the surface. So while we may not see it, we could certainly feel something isn't right, that there's some kind of an emotional struggle going on, and it will be, an undercurrent that will be going on throughout the weekend. Now, Pluto is moving forward again in the sign of Capricorn. This is why we're seeing so much government activity. Now, my guess is this is probably something to do with the conflict in Israel, with the moon representing the food and water and the needs of the people. Both sides, right? Humanitarian aid is not taking sides. And Pluto is, government powers that are in conflict, right? So we're seeing big changes, in the conflict in some way is probably really going to elevate as of this weekend. We also have Neptune opposing Venus. Now, these energies in Pisces and Virgo, speak a lot to boundaries. Having healthy boundaries is Venus in Virgo. And Neptune in Pisces is strong. It's at home. It is an energy that can be a little deceiving. It is still having a conversation with Pluto, so they can combine their energies for some, so that doesn't work out in a positive light for others. They can use their power to create things, right, to help other people heal. So it just depends on who and how you are tuning into this. But there's a definite tense conversation again on Friday as Neptune opposes Venus. We're struggling with some kind of boundaries. And at the same time, it is speaking in harmony with that energy of the moon while it's opposing Pluto. So there's something intuitively that we need to pay attention to on Friday, because some kind of a change is going to be needed. I mentioned that Saturn was going to station to go direct. This is the day that happens. Saturn's been in retrograde since June 17th. So this is the beginning of applying the lessons learned from that long retrograde period. As planets change direction, they amp up their energy. So expect Saturn to be flexing its muscles and, again, in the sign of Pisces, this can be spiritual wars. This can be spiritual leaders that are flexing their muscles. This can be more restrictions going on as a result of spirituality. That's one of the things that Pisces rules, is basically religion. So we'll see what happens as this changes direction, and maybe for the better, a leader of some kind steps up and helps to procure peace. Would be best case scenario. Saturn is a very restrictive planet, and it is about applying rules, having plans, executing those plans, and listening to somebody older and wiser than yourself. So there's some big conversations that are going on Friday. Some of them are harmonious, some of them are contentious. But the one thing you can count on is, with all of this attention and activity, change is possible. Now, we had Venus and Uranus speaking earlier in the week, and during the weekend, we have Mercury, which will be opposing Uranus. So again, there's this energy of difficult conversations, information being brought to the surface, which is, I like to call Mercury in Scorpio the little detective. So the planet's in there stirring things up, even in the psychological world and realm and our own minds. There can be fears that are coming up to the surface. And, Uranus is an energy that wants to be free. And it is, so again, there's some voice of concern about wanting freedom, and there's conflict. So that's the energy and the tension that we have between those planets on Friday. Now, as each of these planets moved through that 14, almost 15 degree point of Scorpio, basically where Mars is right now, what they're doing is activating the last lunar eclipse that we had back on May 5th. So there is something that you may have seen, uncovered, discovered back in May, and now may be the time that you're ready to do the work, to make the decision, to make the transformation complete, because Scorpio, of course, is all about transformation. It's all about power as well. So if you were able to see where you're giving your power away to things that aren't real, for instance, now you may realize that it's time for you to step up into your power and stop letting things that are make-believe and just in your head keep you from doing what you really want to be doing. So each of the planets that have gone through here, Mercury earlier in the week, starting to stir things up. Now Mars will sit here for a bit and makes this conversation pretty intense, and sometimes that need to change will be extremely strong because Mars is passion and energy and attacking things. So there is definitely this intensity on Friday as well, with Mars getting ready to just fully activate that lunar eclipse point. The sun will follow next week into that space as well and highlight it. So it's a good time to think back and reflect on what you were working on in May, because there's something about that that could be coming to a really big ending. The other thing that we'll have is that moon energy again will be creating a T-square. So we're going to end up seeing this again, more tension, more pressure, especially on Sunday when we see that moon shift into the sign of Leo, which is really feel good energy. That Leo is fun. And it squares with Uranus and Taurus, and also squares with Mars. So there's a difficult conversation going on, and then it's even more specifically squaring to Mercury. So it's a pretty intense day on Sunday. If you are needing to make some kind of an emotional breakthrough happen, that's the positive way to use the tension that's going to show up throughout the weekend. Is like, okay, I'm feeling this pressure. I can either sit and let it hold me back, push me down, or I can use it for breakthroughs. You know, imagine you're the caterpillar in the chrysalis, right? The pressure is what turns it into the butterfly. So we not need to be afraid of pressure, but we do need to be aware of how we react when we are under pressure. So that's how we're going to end up this week. And it's purposeful, right? Once we see something that's exposed through the lunar eclipse, we need to do something about it. We can't bury it. So there's lots and lots of things going on this week. So this should make our card reading very, very interesting. Now, if you aren't following me yet on my website, on my Instagram, or on my Facebook page, you might want to take a little trip over to my website and check out the monthly horoscope for November that is now out there. When I write up those monthly horoscopes, I include the upcoming new moon and full moon articles as well. And I also have December already done. So you can get all fully prepared, as well as an outlook for 2024. So I have found that about 60 days before major shifts happen, like our solar return chart, changing of the years, that I start to see the influence of that energy showing up in our lives. So this is a good time to take a look at that roadmap that is laid out for you for next year, so you can start to prepare, so you can start to plan effectively, so you can start to know when you should do things. And I have a special in-depth reading that you can schedule with me, where we will do a deep dive into your personal chart and all the transits for 2024, and all the new moons, all the full moons, all of the eclipses for next year. So there aren't going to be any surprises, right? You will know the work that you need to do. And my overarching theme is show up and meet the energy. Don't have it just work on you, because it never goes well. All right. As we transition to the tarot card readings, and if you're new, I pull one tarot card for every sign. You want to make sure you watch for your sun, moon, and especially rising. The rising sign is your perspective, how you see the world around you and how the world around you sees you. So that one really is most noticeable. Your sun sign is your ego self, right? That person that you're always talking to when you're driving down the road and you think, why am I talking to myself? Well, because your ego self needs some company and you need to have conversations. So your closest friends know you as that person, but not everybody does. Everybody else sees that rising sign as who you are. And then that moon sign, those are things that we're emotionally experiencing. And of course that's important, right? Because what we're experiencing emotionally is oftentimes what we're reacting to, because those are a lot of our triggers. So make sure you watch for all three, and please subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and feel free to share this information with someone that you think could benefit from it. And of course, check out all the material I have on this page and on my website. There's lots of information and details that I have available to help you navigate. All right, so with that, we are going to transition into the tarot reading. All right, everybody, this is my favorite part. Always as curious as you, what do the cards have in store for us this week? So with this tumultuous week with lots of shifts and change, let's see what we have in store. Now, if you skipped the astrology portion, you should really go back and watch it. But for everyone who's ready, let's get started as usual with the sign of Aries. All right, Aries, you have the Ace of Swords for the week ahead. So some big idea, some information is handed down to you from the heavens, and it's important. Whatever you're shown, whatever new idea you're given, whatever new information is handed to you, you're meant to do something with it. And maybe that means that you really can't approach this week with the same old, same old. You need to approach it in a new way, with new ways of thinking, new ways of communicating. Of course, the one energy means new beginnings. So something new is possible as long as you approach this week with a fresh perspective. Taurus. You have the Eight of Wands this week. So Taurus, that means things are going to be changing fast. So this, of course, has everything to do with the fact that that Taurus energy with Jupiter facing off with the sun, with Uranus aspecting several of the planets like Mercury and Venus and the moon, that things are changing. You cannot keep doing things the same way you have been, because the Eight of Wands, it means things are moving ahead quickly. So there's no time to think about the past. Even our magical little wands here are heading out in the wind. They're on to a new adventure and they move super fast. Now that 8 energy means that you have something to do with strength, leadership, power, that is going to help you navigate the changes. But this is so difficult for you because you're so fixed in your ways. And this week will challenge you to get out there, to break free, and to stop doing things the same way you've always done them. It's time to usher in some real change and allow yourself to move forward swiftly and quickly. So there's not a lot of time to sit around and think about it. You need to trust and move forward. Gemini. Gemini, you have the 10 of Swords, and this can be a pretty difficult card, so I am gonna apologize right now for all of you that will have to deal with this energy this week, because something that has just been a source of frustration for you, maybe it's your health, maybe it's a relationship, but you're done. You can see the intensity of this card. Whatever this is, it is coming to an end this week. Now, it's not all bad news, right? Because once this ends, then you can be released of whatever's been causing you pain. So this 10 converts then into the number 1, and that's where you get your fresh start from. Now, if you have been torturing yourself because the swords are the way we think, then it's really time for you to let that go, right? And for those of you who have put in your trust in somebody that you know better, well, you're going to find that out this week, because literally from the looks of this picture, this poor person has gotten stabbed in the back. Now, this looks like it could be something related to work or school, because of the images that are in this card as well. So just stay aware of the conversations that are being had around you. Document anything that you're concerned about very carefully, and make sure you protect yourself. So it might be a difficult week, but once you get through it, things will get better and you can start over. Speaking of starting over, it is our Cancerians who get a handful of love with the Ace of Cups. So this is a gift, again, handed down from the heavens. This could be a meeting that you have that is fated with somebody that is going to express their love for you, somebody that you will love deeply and intensely. And it doesn't always have to be romantic love, right? This could be an offer to do something that you really love. It's just a good feeling emotionally, and it's something brand new because it's the Ace energy. So it's a great week for you. Now, considering that the moon has all these difficult conversations this week, I think that getting through all of that work, all of that tension, this is like your reward for that. So don't be afraid of doing the work. Trust your gut, trust your intuition, and welcome this new opportunity that's going to show up for you. Leo. Leo is interacting with the Queen of Pentacles this week. So Leos, you may be getting maybe a new boss. You may be getting a job offer. This would be a woman who is somebody who's very practical, right? She's not overly emotional. At least she doesn't express her emotions outwardly, but she cares deeply and intensely for other people. And when she gives you this offer, you know that you can trust her because she's grounded, she's not flighty, she's responsible. And, you know, we've got beautiful imagery here. So this tells me that there's definitely a wonderful opportunity that is being presented to you this week, and it could change your current financial situation as a result. So that's good news. All the court cards carry the energy of the one. So again, this whole week seems to be leading up to a lot of new beginnings. So no matter the frustration this week, trust that whatever's ending is ended for a reason, and new opportunities will present themselves as long as you show up to meet them. Virgo. Oh, Virgos. You have a little bit of a pity party going on, so you need to be careful in the week ahead. This is emotionally heavy energy and disappointing, but you got to remember to think about the glass as being half full, not half empty, because even though there are some things that are a disappointment, we can see that by these cups that have tipped over, we still have two more up here on the shelf. So that's where you need to be focusing your time and attention on, is what is still going well. And whatever this is, this disappointment, there's nothing you can do about it. It's already done. And let it go. 5 means change. So there's things that will occur in this difficult week ahead that will cause you to be sad. And that's okay. We just need to grieve. And once we finish the grieving, we need to pick ourselves up and we need to move forward. So practice gratitude this week. And hopefully this is a minor disappointment. Expect to get through the week and for things to be changed and different as a result of the work that you need to do. Libra. Another Queen card for the week. This one is the Queen of Swords. So this for you, Libras, is a woman, again, who's very practical, very quick-witted, very smart, very intelligent, knows how to speak her mind. And so if you are looking for certain kind of information, certain kind of plans, this woman has the information that you seek, and she will show up looking for you this week. So it's a good week to get the thoughts in your head like organized and to get control over them, right? The queen, the court, right? The queen and the king, they are masters of their court. So they're in control of the thoughts they say and the words they say and use. So this is something about the conversations that you need to have in your relationships, right? How can I restore balance? That's the work that you're doing with the South Node in your sign. What do I need to let go of? This person's going to help you understand what you need to know in order to bring your relationships, personal, business, friendships, back into balance this week. So pay attention to what she says. And then you get this one energy and a new beginning as a result of the conversation that you have with this woman. Moving on to Scorpios. Oh, of course. I just think these cards are so funny. So the Devil card, which of course makes you think very much of Scorpio energy, since Pluto is the ruler of the underworld and the ruler of the sign of Scorpio. And this is our first major arcana card. So that tells me, Scorpios, you have some major work going on for you this week, which we already know. So with this need for transformation, The message of the Devil card is understanding where you are trapped. These are things that you think you need to have to survive. And the truth is, you don't need any of them. You don't need this person. You don't need all these material things, right? Scorpio energy is about feeling power, but you don't have to have a lot of material things around you to feel strong. You're connected to spirit and source, your intuition, your emotions. And what the devil does is it keeps you trapped. It makes you fearful. It makes you think things that are in your life can't be let go of or you won't survive. It's not true. It's just literally an ego trap. So there's lessons this week. There's ego lessons this week that you need to work through. And when you do, when you release yourself, you are going to find out that you had all the power within you all along. And I do this exercise when I'm coaching clients where I have the little devil and the little angel on your shoulders, you know, trying to give you advice. And I always tell them to flick the devil off of your shoulder and tell him to, whatever explicit words you like to use, to go away. So this may be you needing to have that conversation with someone this week that says, you know what? I'm taking my power back and you no longer get to control me. It's going to feel good when you do because the energy is of the 6, and the 6 brings joy, love, and happiness. Sagittarius. Well, our second major arcana card, and you have the Strength card and the number 8. And wow, are you a force to be reckoned with this week, Sagittarius? So you are fired up. You are strong. You are looking a bit invincible. And look how she's just taming this dragon so easily that it is just calm and putty in her hands. So that's you this week. Whatever challenges that this week brings for you, you are able to control the beast and as a result get people to do things that need to be done without making anything worse. So you really are a respected leader this week. Your strength is needed, and I would imagine as a result of what you're able to accomplish this week, that there is something even more important that will be handed to you as a result. So the 8 number is just like the Strength card. It means strength and leadership and being able to think about the number 8 as the infinity symbol and opening an opportunity that has the potential to really turn into something big. So I can't wait to hear about what Sagittarius's experience. Capricorn. Well, just when I said there weren't any major arcana cards, now we've gotten 3 in a row, and now we have the Hanged Man. So Capricorns, you have an opportunity to think about something that's possibly been aligned to the energy of these lunar eclipses and change your mind potentially. You can get very set in your ways with Saturn as your ruler, but sometimes you need to take a big time out and clear your head and approach whatever this conflict is from a whole new perspective. So there is a need this week, and maybe it's because of some conflict that happens this week, for you to really slow down and pause and rethink your current stance on something. It's big work, but the best way to do it is in quiet and solitude, meditation. The Hanged Man energy is the energy of the 3. So this is about connecting to your spirit guides and asking Have I been wrong this whole time about whatever the topic is? And should I be seeing something different, a different possibility? As a result of what you reflect upon, you may change, and that means maybe you have to say you're sorry. Aquarius. Aquariuses get some love this week. You have the Six of Cups card, which is youthful. You may be reflecting on the past. You may be interacting with somebody from the past, maybe even somebody from your childhood. But this is the energy of, young love. There could be a faded romance that begins because of this person showing up with this offer for you. So it's an emotional offering. It's something that when you receive it, you'll feel really good about it. And just remember that we want to always be remaining in balance. So if you've been getting a lot of love lately, then maybe it's you who's offering a loving gift to somebody else in your life who is very, very important to you. So the Six energy feels really good. You just got to watch out that this isn't that opportunity to overindulge, that we have a couple of placements for this week. So be careful of that. But otherwise, it's a really happy, joyful energy for you this week. Last but not least, Pisces. All right, Pisces, you have the King of Cups this week who you are interacting with. So this is somebody who is going to have some kind of an offer for you that feels really good. Like maybe you've been waiting for a message to show up. Maybe you're looking for a job. Maybe you're looking for this man to date. And the King of Cups is somebody who's very comfortable expressing their emotions and their feelings. They're, of course, very responsible. They are the king. And they're also somebody who's looking to take care of you, right? So this is somebody who's very loving, very caring, very nurturing that you're interacting with this week. So whatever he has to offer you, you can trust the information. And even though it might seem like it's too good to be true, it's not. So trust your gut. Of course, you're a very emotional sign, because whatever this is, with that one energy of the court cards, there's something new that you're going to get to choose to begin, and you're going to feel really good about it. All right, guys, that is all of our cards for the week. If you'd like to have a full reading done, like a Celtic cross, you can get an idea of what to look for in a particular area, like your work or your romance, health, whatever it is. We can ask the cards and we can have a much more deeper conversation if you just go to my website and book a session with me. Also, coming up this weekend is our next meeting of our really fun Sip and Stars group. So we'll meet on Saturday morning, Pacific Standard Time, and talk all about the upcoming new moon wishes that will be in the sign of Scorpio. So that's always an, interesting energy. It's a time for making wishes about completing personal transformations. And that one has a lot of power behind it. So it's a really good time to do it in a more formal structure so that you are prepared for the event that actually occurs next week after next. So come on, join us. It's very affordable. If you join it, you can commit to the program, and it's $11.11 a month. So we spend about 90 minutes, and I do read your charts as well as give you a presentation about the sign of Scorpio and sample wishes and things that you can focus your intentions on. So if you are interested, come on down. And you can always bring a friend for free. So if you guys join only one time, you can split the higher cost, and still is about $11.11 for both of you. All right. Let me know in the comments below what the heck the eclipses have been shaken up for you, what you need to focus on to get through this week. And if you need a little extra thoughts and prayers, just comment. And of course, I always reply. All right. Woo, it's going to be an intense week, but we can get through it. And then we will be back together next week to talk all about the new moon in Scorpio. Take care, everybody, and we'll talk soon.